guys. Tim Hart, Van Dyke Mortgage, host of Rates and Reels. Appreciate you being here. We have a special guest with us today, a great friend of mine, Pastor Jon Zehnder from St. Michael Lutheran Church. We're very happy to have you today, buddy. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, my pleasure. It's great to be out here. A beautiful Clewiston out in Lake Okeechobee. Haven't been here before, but weather's a little interesting, but hey, don't throw me overboard.
Yeah, we won't. Yeah, right here, guys, we're at Roland Martin Marina. We got some bad weather this morning. We're waiting for it to pass. Some rain coming in. And this tiki bar thing here was closed down, so we're here fairly early. We're not drinking because it's still early, so don't worry about that. One of the reasons why I brought him here, besides him being, you are, whether you think you are or not, a pillar of the community, right? I mean, you're well known. You've been doing this for a long time. But Pastor Jon, he married my wife and I, baptized my three kids, or our three kids. Spoke at my dad's funeral. So Pastor Jon's been involved in our life for a long time now, and we always appreciate everything you do. So first off, thank you, man, for everything you do.
Glad to have you as part of our family at St. Michael.
Yeah, no, yeah. We love you, man.
One correction is, I didn't really marry you. I did your wedding, but I couldn't actually marry you, or
Good point.
It would be inappropriate. But anyway,
I appreciate the correction there. So, but what I'd like to hear from Pastor is, if you don't mind sharing with everyone out there that maybe don't know you or don't know a lot about you, just if you tell your story about St. Michael Lutheran Church and how you ended up in Fort Myers.
Yeah, that's great. My wife and I, Joni, have 4 boys. Our oldest was 10, our youngest was 3 when we came down to Fort Myers in 1991. Graduated from the seminary. Our church, our faith tradition kind of you go college for 4 years, get a Bachelor of Arts in Biblical Studies, which you never want to put after your name because it means you have a BA and BS. But so then after your undergraduate, you go to seminary for 4 years, and then you're placed your first placement. And so I was outside of Duluth, Minnesota. I was there for 9 years. Had opportunities to go other places, but never felt God kind of calling me and to leave. And so in 1991, got the call to St. Michael. Things were in a little different situation back then. It was a little more difficult. And actually felt God telling us to head south, so we did. And packed up our 4 little boys, 10 years old as the oldest and 3 at the youngest, and been 25 years, and it's been great ever since. So coming to St. Michael, watching a church recover from some brokenness and getting involved in the community, doing some great work in the Dominican Republic now for about 18 years. So it's kind of exciting to enmesh, not only in the community of the church, but also how the church can enmesh itself and serve the community at large.
So what I would like to talk with Pastor about is something that I see out there in the mortgage business, and just with friends of my own family, friends, whatever. I'd like Pastor to kind of talk about different problems and how he addresses them that I see. So we're going to cover 3 of them. We normally do 3 questions on the show. We're going to do 3 problems today, okay?
There you go.
So one of the first problems we see out there are struggles would start with people's marriages. We see those, breaking apart at times with people you never thought it would happen to.
Right.
So how do you talk to people like that?
Well, I think, again, there's a lot of different stresses in relationships, but probably the biggest one, and you probably deal with that in your business as well, is the whole area of communication. And, we can trace problems in relationships that cause dissolutions in marriages or disconnections in relationships back to a problem in communication, about 80%. And again, men and women are wired different. Anytime you make a generality, it's about 80% true. So, for most women, they have more connecting fibers between the left and right hemisphere of their brain, more verbal, more artistic. They experience life, again, at 80%, but they experience life on an emotional level that a lot of times we as guys don't get.
Right.
So, they process things a lot of times verbally. Guys, we want to fix things. And so, there's a communication gap to just begin with. And so what I tell people is, a lot of times when we're having a conflict, we'll talk when you put communication on the Bunsen burner and then really kind of mess it up, but even just the general communication stuff, you have to set aside time. So I tell people there are 8 critical minutes every day. First 2 minutes when you wake up, 2 minutes when you separate for the day, first 2 minutes when you come back home and reconnect with community, and 2 minutes before you go to sleep. And it works for kids too. If you're waking your kid up in the morning going, get out of bed! Yeah, that's not a great way to start your day.
You hit snooze
right?
six times and you wake up and start yelling at your kid like it's their fault.
Exactly. And
Right.
then you're chasing them out the door to get to school on time. It's just
That never happens.
And kind of all kinds of stress.
Yeah. Oh, me too. So another problem that we see out there, and like I said, I see this in the mortgage business all the time, and the other one is finances.
Right.
So I mean, you see that stress that
A lot.
adds to people's lives, whether in a relationship or not.
Yeah.
So-
Money concerns. Communication is the number one again, 80%. So financial concerns is the next one. It's number 2 on the list. Causes for disconnections in relationships and dissolutions in marriages. A good 20% almost can be traced back to financial issues. So it's about planning, right? It's about setting up a budget. It's not rocket science really. Income and outgo. I mean, you can only spend basically what you take in. You want to make sure you're saving. You want to make sure you have an emergency account. It's all those very simple principles. Right?
Well, and one of the easier books to read out there, anything with Dave Ramsey, as far as like just basic financing, it just awesome stuff.
Right.
Very easy to read. Not a boring, over the top book, but I'm a big fan of all his.
Dave
stuff.
Ramsey's excellent stuff, and the other thing he has is, like, if you have debt, take it on. You pay the one off and you roll it, you kind of snowball it.
Debt snowball. You
Yeah.
can Google that. Let's hit on another struggle out there,
Sure.
especially all my friends, younger kids, some teenagers, some of them now. And so, what do you speak to as far as the new parents or the parents maybe with the kids coming in as a teenager?
Right. Well, I think different areas in life cycles of kids require different things. I mean, obviously infants. Disciplining, sometimes it sounds like a bad word, but really it's about guiding, so you're trying to guide your kids and, grow them up to be, a great person, know God, love God, and serve God and serve other people. And so all of those principles you start training. And so, I mean, I hate to even make it sound like this, it's kind of like raising a puppy, but, you reward good behavior and you discipline bad behavior. That's just not acceptable behavior. And so at different time frames in a kid's life, there are things that work and don't work. One of the things I would say, and you're too young to remember this, but there's a movie called Old Yeller, right?
What do you mean too young? I
yeah,
cried my eyes out of Old Yeller.
Old Yeller.
Come on now.
I mean, the sad movie.
I'm 40.
I don't want to just. You don't. If you haven't seen the movie, you're going to watch it. Turn it off now because I'm going to tell you the end. The dog dies at the end. But anyway, so
spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert there. But Old Yeller was a great movie, but it's not a great parent. And so sometimes I think we as parents, we get aggravated because our kids are doing the action we want them to do, but we don't have an expectation of that. We haven't trained them to have an expectation of that. There's a guy 100 years ago by the name of James Dobson, did a lot of family stuff. And what he said was, and it worked for us with our kids when they were little, you walk into a room and they got toys all over the place. Hey guys, school tomorrow, you need to pick up the toys, you get a bathtub, and then head for bed. Well, you walk in, you make that announcement, you go somewhere else, and a couple minutes later you come back, well, nobody's moved. Because they're going to take you to the brink of your disaster, right? So kids inherently, they're not trying to be evil or mean. Kids just are kids. And so they're not moving that first time because they know you're not serious yet. Mm-hmm. So you come in the second time, you go, hey, wasn't he just in here 5 minutes ago? I told you pick these things up. Get in the bathtub, you got to take a bath before, you got to get ready for go to bed and go to school tomorrow. 5 minutes later, you come in, and now now your blood pressure's going up. You're turning a little bit red in the face. Now they know you're getting a little closer to being serious.
You're almost there.
You're almost there.
Right.
They haven't taken you to the brink of disaster yet. So then they're looking at you, and they put their finger behind the toy, and they're going, right? And now you're like, so now I'm yelling and screaming. Now they've taken me to the brink of being out of control.
Right.
I'm a maniac.
You're
I've lost my mind, which is what the word mad means. You're lost control of your mind. I'm yelling and screaming. Now they're like throwing pitch and stuff because I'm chasing around. Because now we want to spank their little butt, And they run down the hall. They're tearing their clothes off. They jump in the bathtub, and you're standing next to the bathtub going, all right? So save yourself all that aggravation. You get one of those little baking timers. I tell my kids, I'm like the ref. See that game, football game? There's a guy with stripes on, right? He gets to make the call. So here's the thing. I set the timer for 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes to pick these toys up and then get in the bathtub. When that dinger dings, I'm coming in, I'm gonna make a call. I got stripes, I got a whistle, I got a flag. I'm gonna blow the whistle, throw the flag if there's an infraction, and you know there's a penalty. Whatever the penalty is, you know, like you got to go to bed half an hour earlier, you don't get to have dessert, whatever you do.
A consequence for their
There's
action.
a consequence, right. And it's immediate. And then you just make the call, you know? And if they didn't get picked up, well, hey, you know, here's the consequence. You go to bed, and you get to pick it up tomorrow. We'll try it. We're going to play the game again.
Right.
Got 10 minutes. And by the way, kids are devious enough, and again, they're not evil, but, you know, they're smart enough that if you put it low enough, they'll keep giving themselves 10 minutes, right? So you got to put it high enough that, like, they have to kill themselves climbing up that stuff.
You did have all boys.
Oh, I had all boys.
I can tell.
You know,
right.
So it's disaster waiting to happen. And the other thing is, you know, sometimes we as parents treat kids like they're adults.
Like they should already know what to do.
Right, exactly. And we're trying to reason with them like adults. So I think, you know, when kids are little, you just, because they said so. And you just kind of keep, you know, why is that? Because I made a decision, and that's my decision. I said so. And, you know, it's about learning to respect people in authority. And that affects then how they treat their teacher in the classroom, how they treat a police officer, or anybody else in authority. You know, it learns at the home. And so I think a lot of times we want to sit little Billy down and say, no, Billy, you know, well, Billy's not tracking all of that, you know. It's abstract thinking that they're not at yet by their age. So I would say, you know, treat kids like kids. The other thing I see with a lot of families is there are a bazillion opportunities for families to be involved in other extracurricular things. And I know it's the toughest thing in the world. You have to kind of hone those down a little bit. I just see families running 100 miles an hour.
Right.
And so, I mean, it's great that, you know, God invented like drive-through windows, you know, because, you know, we're supposed to eat in our cars. That way, if there ever is a hurricane, you know, I mean, you gotta like pull the seats up. There might be some old gummy bears and French fries, you know, behind there you could eat while we're waiting out the storm.
The prepper thing.
Yeah,
in case the world's gonna end. You're ready.
There you go. You're prepared because there's, you know, kids have eaten, dropped stuff all over your car.
Right.
So I think, you know, have a tradition where you're sitting down, you're talking, trying to slow the pace of your life down. Sometimes you have to say no to good opportunities. Kids can't do everything. You know, I mean, they can't be in 27 sports. You want to give them the experience, the opportunity to try different things, but you know, you can't be signed up. So every night you're running till 11 o'clock for a kid who's in grade school.
Right, yeah. What wisdom from this man. You just killed it today, buddy. An animal, man. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks.
You guys look up St. Michael Lutheran Church and School. We'll put all their information in this video. Come visit. You got 2 services on Sunday, 1 on Saturday, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're doing a lot of work in what we call caring ministries in the community. Like I said, if you're interested in helping out in the Dominican Republic, Fort Myers has a sister city relationship with Santiago. We're actually one of the first involved in that, and home for disabled kids, developmentally disabled. We have schools and churches and all those kind of stuff. Human care kind of care down there as well. So come and join us. Love to have you partner up.
Plus Santiago is just fun to say.
It's just fun to say. Plus, they also have good cerveza there.
So there you go. All right, buddy. Well, thanks for being with us today. We appreciate it, dude.
Appreciate
Thank
you
you,
taking me
Pastor.
along.
Thanks.